English Easy Podcast.
Welcome to English Easy Podcast. Most intermediate learners, well, they kind of speak English like a polite black and white robot.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I woke up, I ate, I worked, I slept.
Right. And I mean, it is entirely functional. It definitely gets you from point A to point B.
Yeah, but it completely misses the reality of your actual life.
Exactly. Because if you step into the lived experience of a busy professional day, that black and white movie it doesn't capture it at all.
Not even close. Your daily landscape is completely full of color. It is packed with stress, peppered with sudden joy.
And it usually ends in a very specific type of exhaustion.
It is the absolute definition of a dynamic, emotional roller coaster. And yet so many people who are, operating in a second language, especially in that B2 or C1 intermediate territory, they find themselves trapped.
Yeah, totally trapped.
They have the vocabulary to discuss, like quarterly financial projections or project management timelines. But when it comes to describing how they actually feel moving through their day...
They fall back on a script.
Right. A script that sounds like it was generated by a machine.
And that is exactly what we are going to fix today. I'm your host, and sitting across from me is our resident expert in language and human behavior.
Hi, everyone. So glad to be here.
Together, we are going to be your guides through this deep dive. And I want to talk directly to you, the listener.
Yes,
We know your day is likely already packed to the absolute brim. You've probably got a phone in your pocket that is just full of noise, right?
Unread notifications everywhere.
Oh, man, yeah. And a to-do list that is staring at you with, aggressive intent. So, first of all, thank you.
Really, thank you.
Thank you for giving a little piece of your day to us. Think of this deep dive as a mindful break for your very busy brain.
Just get comfortable, focus on the ideas, and we will carry the English for you.
That is the perfect framing for our mission today. We are looking at a fascinating approach that treats the daily routine not as a boring list of chores, but as a narrative arc.
It really is a hero's journey, with a distinct beginning, a messy middle, and a reflective end.
And we are going to inject rich, highly emotional vocabulary into those descriptions.
Because your everyday busy work life deserves to sound as dynamic and complex as it actually feels.
Exactly. By the end of our time together, you're going to have the exact vocabulary to describe your personal daily movie with so much more color.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
So let's unpack this. We have to start right where the narrative starts.
The alarm clock.
Right. That raw, completely unfiltered, often painful moment when the alarm goes off. Let's talk about the morning struggle.
The morning struggle is universal, but there's a brilliant contrast we need to establish right away.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, if you look at social media, you are bombarded with the aesthetic Instagram routine.
Oh, you know the one.
Right. Waking up effortlessly at 5 a.m., stretching in a pool of golden sunlight.
Drinking hot lemon water while journaling your gratitude in perfect sweeping cursive.
Exactly. Which, let's be entirely honest, is a work of pure fiction for about 99% of us.
100% fiction for me. I mean, if I tried to journal at 5 a.m., it would just be a page of angry scribbles.
Precisely. And this is why it is so refreshing to explore the reality of what we call a quirky routine.
I love that word, quirky.
It's a fantastic piece of vocabulary. When something is quirky, it means it is a bit strange, perhaps highly unconventional.
But in a cute way, right?
Yeah, in a cute, authentic, and completely harmless way.
Right. The quirky morning isn't a failure, it's just very specific to you.
Exactly. Maybe your quirky routine is drinking your coffee while standing in the shower.
Or feeding your cat before you even open your own eyes.
We've all been there.
But here's where it gets really interesting for me. The very first action of the day isn't described as waking up. It is described as a negotiation with the alarm clock.
A literal negotiation.
Why is staring at the ceiling bargaining for 5 more minutes such a universal experience, particularly for busy professionals?
Well, if we look at the psychology and biology here, that negotiation is the ultimate clash between your physiological reality and societal demands.
So your body versus your boss.
Pretty much. When you are a busy working learner, especially someone navigating their professional life in a second language, your brain is processing a monumental amount of data every single day.
Right.
Your cognitive load is staggering. So when that alarm goes off, your brain is experiencing sleep inertia.
Sleep inertia. What does that actually feel like?
It's that groggy, heavy state where your brainstem is awake, but your prefrontal cortex, the logical decision-making center, is still entirely offline.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that morning negotiation is literally your biology begging your schedule for mercy.
It's the ultimate daily contract negotiation. But wait, I have to challenge this a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
We always hear that pressing the snooze button is a terrible habit. But is it always a bad thing?
Not necessarily.
Because sometimes those extra 5 minutes of drifting back to sleep feel like the absolute best part of my entire day. It feels like a tiny victory against the corporate machine.
That's a great point. It isn't inherently bad to seek comfort. The problem arises when we look at the phrase going overboard.
Going overboard.
Right. This is a crucial concept. 1 snooze is fine, it's a gentle transition. 2 is perhaps a luxury. But hitting snooze 4, 5, 6 times.
Yeah, that's dangerous territory.
That is going overboard. To go overboard means doing too much of something, taking a behavior so far that it crosses the line from being helpful into being actively destructive.
Okay, I see the distinction. Because if you go overboard with the snooze button, you don't wake up feeling rested.
No, you definitely do not.
You wake up in a state of absolute panic, you launch out of bed, and that leads perfectly to this physical and emotional state that is described next in our sources.
It's a great description.
It is the feeling of being, and I absolutely love this imagery, a confused penguin.
It is highly evocative, isn't it?
It really is. I can physically feel this description. Your body is out of bed, you are standing upright, but your brain is still dreaming.
You're just waddling.
Exactly. Waddling toward the bathroom on flat feet, bumping into the door frame, genuinely wondering what year it is.
The specific, higher-level vocabulary word for this is feeling scattered.
Scattered. That's a good one.
Scattered is an essential piece of vocabulary for professionals to master. Think about the physical action of scattering seeds.
Like throwing them on the ground.
Right. You throw them, and they disperse chaotically in every direction. When your mind is scattered, it is like dropping a stack of unstapled papers in the wind.
Oh man, what a nightmare.
Your thoughts are thrown everywhere. There is no organization, no focus. It is an incredibly noisy, uncomfortable mental state.
And what's fascinating here is the underlying neuroscience of why we feel scattered.
Exactly.
Break that down for us. Why do we feel like a dropped stack of papers?
Well, when you wake up abruptly, especially if you've gone overboard with the snooze button and are now rushing, your body immediately dumps cortisol and adrenaline into your system.
So you're stressed immediately.
You are engaging the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response, before you have even brushed your teeth.
That sounds awful.
It is. Your brain is aggressively trying to gather the data it needs to survive the morning. But because of that sleep inertia we mentioned, it can't file the data properly.
Hence, the scattered feeling.
Exactly. Hence, the scattered feeling.
That makes so much sense. You are physically awake, but cognitively fragmented.
Right.
But here is the brilliant part.
The antidote.
Yes, the antidote to feeling scattered isn't a complex 1-hour meditation routine that you have to pay for. It is beautifully simple.
It really is.
It is the act of sitting on the edge of the bed for just 30 seconds.
Yes. 30 seconds of intentional stillness.
No phone, no checking the weather, no looking at emails.
That's breathing.
Just breathing and saying a small internal hello to yourself to get centered.
That 30-second pause is remarkably powerful. By sitting still and breathing, you are manually overriding that fight or flight response.
You're telling your body to calm down.
You are engaging the parasympathetic nervous system, which signals to your body that you are safe. It prevents the scattered feeling from dominating the rest of your morning. It transitions you from a state of unconsciousness to a state of readiness without shocking your biological system.
I feel like I need to implement that tomorrow morning. Because if I don't do that 30-second reset, I immediately stumble into what I like to call the existential wardrobe crisis.
Ah, yes. The classic wardrobe crisis.
Staring into a closet full of perfectly fine clothes and thinking, who am I? What is my personal brand?
Why on earth do I own 3 identical navy blue sweaters and yet I have absolutely nothing to wear?
Exactly. It's hilarious, but it really highlights something much deeper. Decision fatigue.
Oh, absolutely.
And listener, if you are working in a second language, your decision fatigue is already heavily taxed.
Very taxed. You have to translate thoughts, interpret cultural nuances, and navigate office politics.
So having to make a massive aesthetic decision before you even have coffee, it's overwhelming.
It is.
And speaking of morning decisions, there is this brilliant analogy from our sources about breakfast that we have to discuss.
The toast analogy.
Yeah. Yes. The concept is, toast is honest, but a green smoothie is marketing.
That is a phenomenally sharp observation.
Right. It perfectly captures the psychological pressure we all feel to perform this perfect, optimized morning routine.
Let's think about toast.
Toast is quick, it is warm, it gets the job done.
But most importantly, Toast is honest about the fact that you have a train to catch in 20 minutes.
Yes. Now, a complex green smoothie with 8 obscure, expensive superfoods that takes 10 minutes to blend and another 10 minutes to clean up.
That's marketing.
That's you trying to sell an idealized, frictionless version of your life to yourself.
And this raises a profound question for our listeners to reflect on. How much of your highly valuable cognitive energy are you expending on the marketing of your life before you even start your workday?
That is a great question.
Reclaiming that energy, choosing the honest toast over the aspirational smoothie, is a very tangible way to protect your battery.
But eventually, you do have to leave the house.
You do.
Which brings us to the ultimate final boss of the morning routine, the door checklist.
The door checklist.
I liken this to an airport security pat-down that you are forced to perform on yourself every single day.
That's exactly what it feels like.
You're standing there at the front door, tapping your pockets in a very specific rhythm. Keys, wallet, phone, bag, umbrella, tap, tap, tap.
It is a physical manifestation of trying to exert control over the unpredictable day ahead. You are literally checking your armor before you go to battle.
But there is one crucial, frequently forgotten item that I think every modern worker deeply relates to.
Headphones.
Ah, yes. The modern armor. The idea here is that headphones act as the commuter's brain.
They really do.
If you leave the house without them, you do the pat down, realize your ears are empty,
Yeah.
and you feel completely exposed.
Vulnerable.
Very vulnerable. Why have headphones become such a vital, non-negotiable piece of the professional uniform?
If we look closely at this behavior, headphones are no longer primarily audio devices. They have evolved into architectural tools for building psychological boundaries.
Oh, I like that. Architectural tools.
Right. When you put on headphones, you are erecting an invisible, impenetrable wall between yourself and the chaos of the public world.
So true.
They allow you to curate your sensory environment. Without them, your auditory processing, which is deeply tied to your stress levels, is at the mercy of whatever is happening around you on the street or the subway.
That invisible wall of the headphones is exactly what you need, because the moment you step off your porch, your controlled sanctuary vanishes.
Gone.
You're suddenly thrust into the shared ecosystem of the commute. You cross the threshold from the private morning struggle into the public arena.
And this is a major psychological shift.
Yeah.
You are leaving an environment you control and entering a space where you control absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all.
And we can really see two distinct ways that people handle this transition.
Let's explore those two types of commuters.
Let's do it.
First, you have the short, observant walk. This is the commuter who is highly mindful.
Right. They notice the angle of the morning light.
They feel the crisp weather. They watch the sleepy faces of other people holding their coffee cups. It's a very grounded experience.
It is.
But then you have the other extreme, the loud, dramatic public transport commute.
The arena of absolute chaos.
Exactly. The subway, the metro, the crowded bus. It is an environment completely filled with friction.
You have fights breaking out at the ticket machine.
You have people having aggressively loud personal phone calls on speakerphone. You have the screeching of the train tracks.
It is either highly entertaining free theater or an absolute nightmare.
Depending entirely on your mood.
True. And navigating that chaos introduces a fantastic, essential piece of vocabulary for our intermediate learners. Zoning out.
Oh, I do this all the time, but let's get into the mechanics of it. What does it actually mean to zone out?
Zoning out means your eyes are open, your body is upright, but you have completely and entirely stopped paying attention to your immediate physical surroundings.
Your mind just wanders off.
Yes. Your consciousness detaches and wanders off. You are physically standing on a crowded bus, holding the handrail, but mentally.
Mentally, you are walking on a beach.
Or you are replaying an argument you had in your head 5 years ago. Or you are simply existing in a state of blank, comfortable static.
The lights are on, but nobody is home.
Exactly.
But here's what I really want to challenge. We often talk about zoning out like it's a bad habit, like it's a lack of focus.
Right, that's the common perception.
But for busy working learners, people who are juggling language translation in their heads, dealing with complex office politics, managing their households, is zoning out actually a negative thing? Aren't you just avoiding reality?
That is a very perceptive challenge. But in the context of the modern professional, zoning out is absolutely not a failure of attention.
Okay.
It is a highly sophisticated, deeply necessary survival mechanism. We have to talk about cognitive load theory again. The commute is very often the only transitional space between home stress and work stress.
The buffer zone.
Exactly. If you are actively engaging with every single stimulus on a crowded subway, if your brain is processing every loud noise, every weird smell, the micro expressions of the angry person sitting across from you,
That sounds exhausting.
it is. Your cognitive battery will be dangerously depleted before you even sit down at your desk. Zoning out is your brain's automatic defense mechanism against sensory overload.
So zoning out is basically putting your brain on battery saver mode.
I love that analogy, yes.
You are dimming the screen brightness of your consciousness so you have enough power left to actually do your job.
Precisely. It is letting the mental engine cool down, especially for a second language learner.
Oh, definitely.
Processing the world in a language that isn't your mother tongue requires active, conscious translation. If you don't zone out on the commute, you are running a marathon before the workday even begins.
That completely reframes the commute for me. It's not wasted time, it's recovery time.
It really is.
So, Sir, I want you to think about this tomorrow morning. What kind of commuter are you?
Are you a people watcher who actively observes the ticket machine drama?
Or do you put your headphones on, stare blankly out the rain-streaked window, and completely zone out to save your battery?
There's no wrong answer here.
No wrong answer, but having the vocabulary to describe it, being able to say to a colleague, I completely zoned out on the train today instead of the robotic, I took the train, that makes your English instantly more native, more textured, and deeply emotional.
It adds that vital layer of human experience that grammar textbooks consistently leave out. You aren't just reciting facts, you are sharing your internal state.
It really does. Okay, so we've survived the physical commute. We've walked into the office building, we've taken the elevator, we've sat down at our desk.
And this brings us to the next massive psychological hurdle of the day.
The digital commute.
The physical commute might be over, but the digital commute is just beginning. This is the precise moment you sit down, take a breath, and open the laptop.
And the day just jumps out of the screen, grabs you by the shirt, and says, hello.
Yeah, quite aggressively, too.
You are immediately hit with 50 unread emails, 3 urgent instant messages, a spreadsheet that is broken, and a calendar full of overlapping problems.
And this intense moment introduces one of the most vivid, visceral vocabulary words we have. Being swamped.
Swamped. I love the physical weight of this word because it feels exactly like the emotion it describes.
It really does.
Break down the imagery of this for us. Why do we say swamp?
If you think of a literal swamp in nature, it is a wetland. It is an area of deep, murky, muddy water filled with hidden roots and thick vines.
So it's hard to walk through.
Incredibly difficult. Every time you take a step, the mud pulls at your boots. It requires massive physical effort just to walk 10 feet.
So true.
When you tell a colleague that you are swamped at work, you are invoking that exact imagery. You are standing in deep water made entirely of tasks, emails, and obligations.
The water is rising.
You are surrounded, the water is rising, and every single action requires immense, exhausting effort.
It is infinitely more descriptive than just saying, I am very busy. Because busy just means I have things to do on my schedule.
Right.
Swamped means the things to do are currently at my chest level, the mud is thick, and I am struggling to wade through it.
Exactly. It conveys the emotional distress and the physical weight of the workload. And there are 2 fundamentally different ways the human brain handles the swamp, depending on the day.
Okay, let's talk about the good days first.
On good days, when our energy is high, we do something called whipping through tasks.
Whipping through, like the crack of a whip.
Yes, the motion of a whip is fast, sharp, and decisive. To whip through something means to execute it incredibly fast and with high efficiency.
Okay, I can picture that.
You sit down at your desk, you see 10 easy administrative emails, and you whip through them in 15 minutes. It's a motion of speed, control, and competence.
But hold on, let me play devil's advocate here. I want to push back on this idea.
All right, let's hear it.
We are constantly told in professional environments that rushing is a terrible idea. We are told to be careful, to be meticulous. If whipping through things is seen as good and efficient, where is the line?
That's a fair question.
Isn't whipping through tasks just a polite way of saying you are doing a sloppy, rushed job?
That is the crucial distinction we have to make. Whipping through does not apply to deep work.
Ah, okay.
It applies strictly to low-stakes, routine administrative noise, deleting spam, approving a straightforward vacation request, sorting a file into a folder. You are clearing the brush so you can eventually walk through the forest.
So no whipping through the big stuff.
Never. You should absolutely never whip through a complex financial analysis, a sensitive human resources email, or a delicate client negotiation.
Okay, that clarifies it. So whipping through the small stuff gives you a quick psychological win.
Exactly.
It gives you a hit of dopamine that makes you feel like you are actively draining the swamp, which gives you the momentum to tackle the hard stuff.
Precisely. It establishes a rhythm of control. But, as we all know, we do not always have good days.
Oh, definitely not.
Sometimes the swamp is just too deep. We open the laptop, we look at the chaotic mess of demands, and instead of whipping through them, our brain entirely freezes.
Yeah, the freeze response.
We open half an email, leave it blank, click over to a spreadsheet, stare blindly at the numbers, click back to a chat window.
I feel attacked right now.
And suddenly we reach a psychological state that is perfectly captured by the word frazzled.
Frazzled. Just the phonetic sound of the word makes me feel physically anxious. Frazzled.
It's an incredibly evocative word. It's rooted in the idea of a frayed rope, where the threads are coming apart.
Like it's unraveling.
Right. But the way it's used emotionally describes a state where you are not just tired, you feel like your brain is messy, chaotic, and completely overcooked.
Yes. Overcooked is the perfect analogy. Like an egg that's been left in the frying pan way too long. The edges are crispy, brown, and burnt. When I am truly frazzled, my brain feels like television static. I can't even decide what font to use in an email, let alone make a strategic business decision that impacts the company.
And what is truly fascinating here is the physiological reality of being frazzled.
Right.
This isn't just a metaphor. It is a biological event happening in your body.
Tell us more about that.
Well, when the demands of the digital swamp exceed your brain's capacity to process them, your amygdala, the ancient primitive panic center of your brain, hijacks your nervous system.
It takes over.
It floods your body with cortisol. When cortisol spikes, it literally impairs the function of your prefrontal cortex, which is where logic, language retrieval, and executive function live.
Wait, let's highlight that for our listeners. Language retrieval.
Yes.
So if you are an intermediate English learner and you are feeling frazzled,
Your ability to recall English vocabulary, to construct proper grammar, or to understand a fast-paced meeting plummets
oh wow, so it actively hurts your English.
completely. You are essentially in a state of primitive fight or flight, terrified by a mountain of emails, but you're just sitting frozen in a comfortable ergonomic office chair.
That is wild.
The biological response does not match the physical environment.
Which is absolutely terrifying when you really think about the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
And this biological reality perfectly sets up the transition into the next phase of the day.
Right.
Because if you try to fight that frazzled feeling by forcing yourself to move faster, you run into severe consequences.
Listen, I do.
This brings us to the midday turning point, the afternoon slump, and what happens when we ignore our biological limits.
The workday is a marathon of cognitive endurance, not a sprint. And the absolute pivot point of that marathon is lunch.